Stay on top of stories about stocks that may impact the market or your portfolio today in Stocks Making News.
Well, it appears as though Amazon may be getting into the bookstore business, at least on a trial basis. Tracy Reinick and Dave Bartosiak are here with me to talk more about this. So, Tracy, I guess on the surface anyway, it appears counterintuitive to their whole business model.
It does. It seems actually pretty nuts. When I first saw the articles and news about it, I thought maybe this was like an Onion thing. They're just kind of making fun of it.
Right.
But no, they really have opened up a bookstore in Seattle,
yeah.
I think on or near the University of Washington campus, and this does go against everything, at least Jeff Bezos always believed, of why the online book selling would work and be a success, was that it could carry so many more titles, out of print things, and unique items that a regular bookstore could never carry.
Right.
And now here he is,
we are,
actually hiring cashiers and salespeople and things like that to work in the store.
Yeah.
And it's unclear, because it's Amazon and they don't really tell anyone their plans about anything,
right,
where this is all going to go. Is this just a one shop thing? Maybe it's just like a little project for them, but some of the people who work there seem to indicate that it could be bigger than just this one store.
Well, you have to ask yourself, at least on the surface, why a successful online retailer like this would want to busy themselves with the risk, first of all, associated with brick and mortar.
Right. I mean, one store for them isn't really a risk. I mean, this is the same company that, tried to put out its own phone and spent who knows how many millions of dollars on that, and then said, whoops, that's not working, and then just shut the whole thing down. They did have a good quarter last quarter, and I brought up the earnings so that people can see kind of what's going on here. I mean, the estimates are rising because it was good. Some of that was based on the cloud, and that segment of their business is doing really well, outside of retail.
Yep.
But, you can see that they actually are expected to make money this year, and then big jump for next year. So, I mean, we won't even get into the valuation on the shares, but just on an earnings basis, things look good here. So this one store opening, even if it's not profitable, but I don't see why they would open it if they didn't expect to make a profit and have it be a legitimate business.
Sure, and I think they're kind of onto something, because they've got all this data from all the Amazon users and everybody that's shopping online. So you don't have to roll the dice really with your inventory that's going to be in that store. You can go ahead and see what's the most searched for cookbook. You know, what's the best investing book, and that Zach's book is going to be there in the Amazon store. So you can have that, and they're thinking that that's where their edge is going to come from, because they'll be able to custom tailor their inventory.
Right. A way to leverage that data to even get greater market share into the company.
They are charging the same prices for the books too, which I do think is the key, because even as we stand right now, if you go to an independent bookstore or one of the other chains, usually the price is still higher, and that's what's been driving people to go online and order from Amazon, because the price has been so much lower.
Right.
But this store is going to charge the same as online, so it is really about more the experience of going into the bookstore and getting it right away, or looking through the books. And
I didn't see, though, but this is on a college campus, so are they putting any college textbooks inside of the store at all?
Maybe
that's a business. They've tried that business, haven't they? Secondhand.
I don't know. That is a big area that Barnes & Noble, as you know, is in, and they just spun off that division because that division was actually pretty profitable. So.
Yeah, they haven't said that yet. But speaking of data, Dave, let's take a look at the stock price. As we sit here and talk on November 4th today, stock price is up. So is it a situation here, do you think, where Amazon's advantage over the traditional booksellers will help the stock move even higher?
I don't even think it's the advantage over the traditional booksellers. I think it's all about AWS. It's all about the cloud. And that's why you're seeing this, because people, did not expect to see that sort of revenue growth. It's up 78% year over year on the cloud services. They did not expect that to happen. So that's why the stock got a huge shot in the arm. And if you take a look at the chart, last earnings report, big gap up. And then this earnings report, it happened again. But whereas the gap up for last report, we kind of pulled back along with the rest of the market. kind of tougher market conditions. This time it's gone up and it's just surging higher. So today we're all the way up at what, 642 or something like that.
Yep.
So it's probing higher, looking for kind of a new fair value for the stock, and I think it can go much higher. Lots of momentum behind it right now.
Kind of makes you wonder whether other online book sites like Alibris, for example, has been a popular book site for a long time, might follow suit here.
Opening up brick and mortar?
Yeah.
I don't know, because see, Amazon can afford to kind of take these risks because they have the cloud and these other areas that are generating so much revenue for them that they can kind of go off on these weird tangents. So
It's a
I
weird
don't know.
tangent.
Well, it is for them because they have been, charged with putting all the bookstores out of business, or many of them,
Right.
and now they themselves are going into that business. It is ironic.
I mean, I could see this going in all sorts of other businesses. What if you just had a kind of a consulting arm that talked to other retail spaces, not just books? You could talk about what everybody's buying on Amazon as far as clothing is concerned, or
Right.
Video games, or whatever it is, and then help other retailers go ahead and customize their inventory specific to what they're seeing online. So there's a huge realm of possibilities. I'm not saying they're getting into that business, but that's why everybody's so excited. That's why we're buying Amazon.
Okay. You own the stock, Tracy.
I do own it in my personal portfolio.
All right, that is good to know. So I guess we're going to have to just wait and see here, put this in the follow-up file as well. And one thing that everybody's going to be interested in seeing is whether or not Amazon is going to become, as one report put it, the bookstore killer going forward. We'll see. Thanks for joining us, and you can always find more information on Amazon and other stocks on our website, Zacks.com. All you have to do is get over to the homepage, and you can link to all of the information that's available right from there. With Tracy and Dave, I'm Terry Ruffalo.